or at cjsf.ca.
This is KPW with This Week in BC Minor League Sports here on CJSF 90.1 FM. You can also find us online at www.cjsf.ca and on TELUS HD channel 7014. We're broadcasting from Simon Fraser University in Burnaby, British Columbia. It's great to be back here in the CJSF studio. I apologize for being away the last couple of weeks and been a bit busy with things going on, but again it's wonderful to return here this week to recap some local sports action on the air with you. Of course, last weekend was the NHL All-Star Weekend as well as the NFL Pro Bowl. Locally though, we had the BC Major Midget Hockey League Showcase Weekend with 10 of the 11 teams in action at the Richmond Oval, so it was a chance for the players to showcase their talent in front of the scouts in attendance. Now, last year they had an all-star game in the BC Major Midget League, but this year they've scrapped that and instead they're doing these showcase weekends, one happening back in September and the second one just happening last weekend. In case you don't know what the BC Major Midget League is, it's 11 teams of 15 to 17-year-olds playing competitive hockey in the province of British Columbia with teams in the Lower Mainland and in the interior. And of course, because we are a community radio station, we're not going to talk about the NHL All-Star Game or the NFL Pro Bowl. We're just going to stick with the showcase weekend for the BC Major Midget Hockey League on this program this week. Now, if you're a regular listener of this program, you'll be familiar with the Vancouver Northwest Giants, a BC Major Midget Hockey club that plays its home games at the Burnaby Winter Club. Now, all of the league games are free to attend, including last weekend's series of games at the Richmond Oval. So plenty of exciting competitive hockey every weekend at your local rink. There's also teams that play their home games in Coquitlam and Langley at the Richmond Oval, and also further out in Abbotsford, and then of course in Victoria, Kelowna, and so on. So a total of 11 teams, with about half of them playing here in the Lower Mainland. And current NHL players Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Brandon Gallagher played in this league in their teens. So you never know, who is going to be a future NHL star down the road. So let's get started with the recaps here. Now, again, the Vancouver Northwest Giants, the team that we cover extensively here on this program. The Giants were once the class of the league, as they were undefeated in the first 2 months of this season, and they actually tied for third place the week before the showcase weekend back on the morning of January the 17th. So they actually have fallen back down to earth, so to speak, in third place. And that was 2 weeks ago, back on the morning of January the 17th. And they were taking on the Valley West Hawks for a pair of games that weekend. And also, Valley West is also a top 5 team in the league. Now, the top 8 teams in the league make the playoffs, so definitely it could be a playoff preview, the matchup between the Vancouver Northwest Giants and the Valley West Hawks. The Hawks, by the way, play in Langley, so again, they're kind of a local team as well, depending on where you live in the Lower Mainland. Now, both teams, the Giants and the Valley West Hawks, had also participated in the Max tournament back during the Christmas break, with the league's Caribou Cougars winning the championship. Both the Giants and the Hawks did well, although they fell short, of course, in the tournament that featured the top teams from North America and Europe. But once the calendar switched to January 2015, it was back to league action in the BC Major Midget League. Again, the Vancouver Northwest Giants versus the Valley West Hawks back on January the 17th and the 18th as well. I actually spoke with Giants assistant coach Calvin Check and defenseman Callahan Brabner prior to their January the 17th game, and here's what they each had to say. Speaking with Giants assistant coach Calvin Check. Calvin, thanks for joining us. And I understand that you guys were playing in the Max tournament in Calgary during the Christmas break. You guys did really well, almost got to the finals. Thoughts about that tournament?
Yeah, it was a great time for us. We played really well. We had a very distinct game plan going into the tournament, and the boys executed it nicely. I don't have to hide it anymore. We had a lot of sickness. Half the team got sick. We had a couple injuries that we had to deal with. So really the message or the feeling we took out of that tournament is what we can do when our backs are up against the wall. And Clint and Grant and I we're really proud of the performance the guys put in.
And now that you guys are back home, you're facing a very tough Valley West Hawks team this weekend. What can you guys do in order to try and take 4 points from these guys?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is that we still have to play our system, play our style. The kind of game that we played in Calgary worked really well against some pretty high-powered offensive teams. There were a couple kids from the Saskatoon Contacts who, had like 65 points in 25 games, things like that. There's CAC Club of Edmonton, same thing, really strong. So the Hawks have some, pretty high-powered offense on their top two lines, and then obviously with Barbaras, he's got a lot of points as a D-man. So we have to play our game, play the right system, and we think we'll have success.
And finally, are you guys healthy now, or are there still guys that are still injured?
Everyone who's playing tonight is healthy.
All right, awesome. That's all I wanted to hear. Thanks so much, Calvin. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thanks, KP.
That was Calvin Check, the assistant coach, or one of the assistant coaches of the Vancouver Northwest Giants. In the clip there, he was talking about he and Clint and Grant being proud of the team. Clint would be Clint Thornton, the head coach, and Grant is Grant Kerr, the other assistant coach on the team. And of course, in the interview, Calvin said that the players that were playing that afternoon were all healthy, but off camera, like after the microphones were turned off, he acknowledged me that some of the players were still sick. And of course, he didn't want to give away like a competitive advantage by revealing that fact on camera or being recorded on an interview that was going to be played. Not wanting to give the other team, the Valley West Hawks, an advantage, knowing that the team is not healthy, not fully healthy. So just a little bit of gamesmanship going on there, I guess. But the point was that the Giants were still not 100% at that time in terms of dressing their best player. So now we're going to hear an interview with Callahan Brabner, a defenseman on the Giants. Speaking with Callahan Brabner of the Vancouver Northwest Giants, thanks for joining us today. Now, Callahan, thoughts about playing in the Max tournament over the Christmas holidays?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. The team really came together and fought hard to make it to the semifinals.
And you guys almost made it to the finals despite a number of sicknesses. How proud would you say you guys are of the effort that you guys put forth in that tournament?
Well, I know I'm personally really proud of all the boys. Everyone put in 100%, regardless of whether they were throwing up or not, because everyone had the flu. But yeah, it was good.
Now, tell us a bit about your season here, Callahan. Thoughts about your own play so far?
I think I had a little bit of a lapse in the middle there, but I've tried to bring it back up. Lately, I think I've been playing pretty well.
And despite a number of injuries and sicknesses, you guys have done really well during the regular season here in league play. What would you say would be the goals for the team the rest of the way, the regular season?
Well, we want to for sure win all of BC, and in the playoffs, and then go right straight to the telescope.
Now, a little bit about yourself, Callahan. Could you tell us who your favorite NHL player is and why?
I'd have to think about that one longer than this. I'm not too sure.
Okay, let's skip that one. And as for yourself personally, have you been drafted?
No.
And what are your plans after the season?
To make it a junior A team or WHL team, hopefully, and then go from there.
All right, and about your training regimen, what do you do to stay in shape on and off the ice?
Well, during the season, our team works out twice a week, and then off season, I train at Level 10 Fitness and do the hockey program there.
Excellent. So. All right, and have you thought about that favorite NHL player again, or should we pass until next time?
I'll pass until next time.
All right.
I'll think about that.
All right, thanks so much, Callahan Brabner of the Vancouver Northwest Giants. Good luck this weekend against the Valley West Hawks.
Thank you.
I also actually had the opportunity to speak with Valley West Hawks for James Melm, the league scoring leader going in, and their head coach Jesse Liang as well. But before I play the next couple of interviews, the exchange I had with Callahan Brabner about his favorite NHL player, of course he passed and he didn't answer that question while being recorded. I actually saw Callahan again last week, and I forgot that he still owed me the answer to that question. If I remembered, I would have asked him, but I did run into Callahan in the hallway at the Richmond Oval. I just forgot to ask him that question again. So I just kind of remembered that as we play the interview. So I'll just have to ask him next time when I see him, who his favorite NHL player is. But anyway, like I was saying, now I'm gonna play a couple of interviews on the Valley West Hawks side. First of all, for James Melm, the league scoring leader, and also the head coach Jesse Liang. We're speaking of James Melm of the Valley West Hawks. Good of you to talk to us today. Now, James, just wanted to ask you about the season so far for the Hawks. Thoughts about the team's play?
We're doing really well. I think we're working hard, and hopefully we can get some 4 points this weekend.
Now, obviously, the Giants are a very tough team to play against. What do you guys need to do to get those 4 points?
Just outwork them. They're a great team. It's a hard-working team, but I think we have a chance this weekend to get 4 points.
Now, I also understand you guys played in the Max tournament in Calgary back in December.
Yeah.
Thoughts about that tournament and what you guys learn from that experience?
Yeah, that was one of the best experiences of my life so far in hockey. It was great. Our team really developed, and we got a lot better.
And James,
that tournament.
James, a little bit about yourself. Who would you say is your favorite NHL player and why?
I got to go with Patty Kane. World-class player, unbelievable hands.
And then as for your season, have you been drafted yet?
Yeah, I got drafted by the Vancouver Giants last year.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
And you'll be playing for them next year, I suppose?
That's the goal, but I couldn't tell you yet.
Right. Now, for the rest of the season, what would be the goal for the Hawks as a team?
I guess to be in top 4 so we can get a home playoff spot. And that's about it. Just develop and work towards the playoffs.
All right, thanks so much, James, for the interview, and good luck this weekend against the Giants.
Thanks a lot, KP.
So James Melm, the leading scorer in the BC Major Midget League, very confident, saying right out that, or coming right out and saying that they were hoping to get 4 points out of a possible 4 against the Giants. And of course, as you heard him say, the goals of the Valley West Hawks would be to try and finish in the top 4 to get home ice advantage for the first round of the playoffs. At the time when we did the interview, the Hawks were sitting in 5th place, but within striking distance of the 2nd to the 4th spots in the league. And also I mentioned having spoken with Jesse Liang, the head coach, and let's hear what he has to say as well. And we're speaking with Jesse Liang, the head coach of the Valley West Hawks. Good to catch up with you today, Jesse. Now, I guess you guys over the Christmas break participated in the Max tournament. How proud were you of the boys playing well during that tournament?
I think that was probably the most consistent we've seen our team play in over a course of 4 games. Very happy with how we played. I think we probably deserved to be rewarded a bit more with our efforts, but you look at it, we were undefeated going into our final day, had an opportunity to play for first in our pool and have an opportunity to go to the playoffs. So fortunately it didn't work out for us, but I was very happy with how we played.
Now, will the experience in the Max tournament help carry over into league play here in the rest of the season?
Hoping so. We've seen how well we can play, and now it's up to us to find that level again. Obviously, when you're talking about a short-term competition, it's a bit easier to be focused on that goal in that short term, and for us now it's finding that same desire on a nightly basis to do it.
Now, let's talk about tonight and this weekend. The Burnaby Winter Club is always a tough place to play. You guys will be playing at your barn tomorrow. What needs to happen for you to take 2 wins from a very tough Giants club this weekend?
I have huge amounts of respect for the Northwest Giants. They're a very good team, very consistently for the last pretty much forever in the league. So for us, it's going to be about making them earn what they get. It's going to be important. We don't give them anything. So any offensive opportunities, they're going to have to earn it. And if we do that, we deny them those opportunities, we're gonna have a chance to be successful.
So you heard a lot of noise in the background there as I was interviewing Jesse Leung, the head coach of the Valley West Hawks. We're standing ringside at the Burnaby Winter Club, and it was really dark outside that particular rink because it was nighttime. So we stayed inside to do the interview. But there was another game going on, like a different league. They had a game going on there, and the dressing rooms were not available at the time. So it was just had to do the interview right there. And that was probably the most quiet, or the quietest place that we could find, and you can still hear the action going on in the background. So just at the Burnaby Winter Club where this interview took place, was a very tiny rink, and that was the best spot that we could find to have a quiet interview. But you heard the main points of what he was trying to say. And obviously, he was very proud of the way that the team played during the Christmas break in the Max tournament, and also hoping that would carry over into league play for the second half of the BC Major Midget League season. Now, getting back to the action, in the Saturday game between these two clubs, the Giants and the Hawks, it was the Giants that came out on top with a 5-3 victory. And then the following morning, the same two teams squared off at the Langley Event Center, and the Giants took a 2-1 lead late in the third period, looking to complete a 2-game sweep. But it was the Hawks' James Malm, who we heard from earlier, scoring the tying goal with 4 minutes remaining. And in BC Major Midget League play, there's no overtime, and the two teams battled to a 2-2 tie at the end of regulation. It was actually an important point for the 5th place Hawks because they're still in contention for second place in the standings. And meanwhile, for the Vancouver Northwest Giants, 3 points on the weekend out of a possible 4. And again, it was a gutsy performance for them, with several of their top players still out of the lineup. And then last weekend, on January 24th and 25th, it was a showcase weekend at the Richmond Oval, as mentioned earlier, with 10 of the 11 teams in action. The early game on Saturday featured Valley West going against the league-leading Caribou Cougars, again, a team that had won the Max tournament for major midget clubs back over the Christmas break. And Caribou took a 2-1 lead in the third period, but Valley West rallied for 2 goals in the third, and the Hawks pulled out a 3-2 win. So the Hawks continue to impress with the third period comebacks, if you will, and were able to knock off the top team, the Caribou Cougars, last Saturday. You're listening to This Week in BC Marlin Sports with KP Wee here on CJSF 90.1 FM as we recap recent action from the BC Major Midget League. Another game of note on Saturday was the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds taking on the Thompson Blazers. It was a mismatch because the Blazers went into the weekend with just 1 win and 3 ties in 28 games. Fraser Valley, meanwhile, had won 4 of his last 6, including a pair of wins over the Northwest Giants back in December prior to the Christmas break. Now, the Thunderbirds badly outshot the Blazers on Saturday, and at one point in the third period, the shot clock was showing 35-14 for with the shots in favor of Fraser Valley. And at that point, the Thunderbirds had just a slim 4-2 lead, but they struck for 4 goals late in the third period to win the game 8-2. So at the end of the game, it was a rout, 8-2 in favor of the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds, and it was Fraser Valley's 5th win in his last 7 games. I spoke with head coach Bill Grieve afterward about the team's performance. Speaking with Bill Grieve, the head coach of the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds, following an 8-2 win over the Thompson Blazers. So, Coach, thanks for joining us. You guys have won 5 of the last 7 games. Thoughts about this latest one?
Well, this game, it was a slow start for us. We got to make sure that we pick it up, and when we start the games, we're looking to move up in the standings, and hopefully we can do that in the next few games.
Now, it was a close game, 4-2, until late in the third period. What happened in the last part of the third where you guys just came out and scored all those goals?
Well, we started to move the puck a little bit. I think a few of our players got a little selfish. We had a talk in the dressing room to move the puck and wait for a good opportunity to shoot, and it seemed to work.
Now, in the recent hot streak with the 5 wins in the last 7, you've beaten teams like the Giants a couple of times and other tough teams as well. what can this team do the rest of the way and the rest of the season?
I hope to move up to. I mean, we want to move up to that 5th or 6th spot. It's our goal to move up into the league, and we can do that if we play a structured game like we have. And some of the players, they got to buy into this structured system, and if we do, we like our chances with any team.
All right, thanks so much, Coach Grieve, and congratulations once again on the victory.
Thank you.
So it sounds like, as Coach Grieve was saying, there are some, I guess, intermission meeting in the dressing room, talking about not giving up the puck and not playing selfish hockey, and then that resulted in a few more goals in the third period for the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds. So again, a terrific win for them, 8-2 over Thompson, and again, the Thunderbirds are on a hot streak, and as the coach said, they're looking to move up in the standings. And Nick Ponick, the captain of the Thunderbirds, also chatted with me as well. Ponick, who leads the team in points, was named the league's player of the month for December, and I spoke to him about the Blazers game and also about his own play. We're speaking with Nick Ponick of the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds. A big 8-2 win today over the Thompson Blazers. Thoughts about today's game?
Well, we started out a little slow. They went up 2-0. Then second period, or first period, we battled back, came up 4-2. Second period was a little slow. Then third period, the boys really started passing and moving the puck well. We got it up to 8-2, so the boys really did well on that one.
And you guys actually have been doing well in the last few games. 5 wins now in the last 7, including a pair of victories against the Giants, a tough team. How good can this team be the rest of the way?
If we do our best and stay out of the penalty box and just try and roll as a unit, we can do very well out there.
And about yourself, Nick, I understand that you were the player of the month for the month of December. Thoughts about your own season so far?
It's gone pretty well. I have 2 pretty good line mates, Brett Clayton and Bryce Sharp, who are really helping out there. So we're all doing pretty well.
And what are your plans for next season? Have you been drafted, or what do you plan to do?
Well, I'm open to either playing Junior A or WHL. I'm affiliated to the Powell River Kings right now in Junior A, so open to anything really.
Right, and actually Coach Grieve mentioned to me earlier that you've actually started playing a few games with Powell River in the BCHL. How's that going for you?
That went really well. I played 2 in one in Salmon Arm, 1 in West Kelowna, and both games went pretty well.
Excellent. And finally, who's your favorite NHL player and why?
I think probably Steven Stamkos. He can score pretty well, and he's just a good all-around player out there.
All right, thanks so much, Nick, for the interview, and good luck tomorrow. Hopefully you guys can complete the sweep.
Thank you.
And also in action on Showcase Weekend was the North Island Silvertips against the Vancouver Northwest Giants. The Silvertips were 7 points out of the playoff spot, sitting in 9th place going into the weekend, and they're pretty much out of the playoff race, but they had won 3 straight, including an 11-0 win over Thompson in their last game. It was a contest which saw Brett Stapley score a club record 8 points, including 6 assists for the Silvertips. I spoke with Stapley before Saturday's game against the Giants. We're speaking with Brett Stapley of the North Island Silvertips. Brett, thanks for joining us today. Thoughts about your performance last weekend? I believe you had 8 points against the Blazers, which is a club record. Thoughts about that performance?
Yeah, the boys, we came in, played hard, and played a good game, and I was fortunate enough to help out myself.
Now, the club has won 3 straight games heading into this weekend against the Giants. Of course, the Giants are always a tough team to play against. What do you guys need to do in order to do well this weekend against the Giants?
We're just going to all have to be prepared to play, and they're a bigger team, so we're going to have to bring our best game we can.
And a little bit about yourself, Brett. How would you say that your season has gone so far?
Pretty well. I'm a rookie in the league, and I've been trying to develop as fast as I can and get used to the pace and strength.
Okay, and a little bit about your on and off ice workout regimen. What do you do to stay in shape?
We have training 5 days a week that is with our school and the Silvertips. So we train 5 days a week.
Okay. You mentioned that you're a rookie in this league this year. Does that mean that you might be playing here again next year, or what are your plans for next season?
Obviously, I'd like to play at highest level as I can, so I'll be going for major junior, but if not, yes, play in this league again.
Okay. Okay, and Brett, can you tell us who your favorite NHL player is and why?
Patrick Kane, because he's so skilled with the puck and good role model.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Brett Stapley, for the interview. Good luck this weekend against the Giants.
Thank you.
And finally, Giants head coach Clint Thornton, who was kind of a regular that I speak with, chatted about the matchup against the Silvertips prior to the game as well. Northwest Giants head coach Clint Thornton. Clint, thanks for joining us today. I'm going to talk to you first about the some audio difficulty there with the clip, something's going on with the internet, so apologize for that. So we're gonna skip the interview, but it turned out to be a low-scoring affair. The Giants pulled out a 3-1 victory over North Island. So the Silvertips' 3-game winning streaks was ended, and the Giants continued to win. So good job by the Giants there. And basically what the coach Clint Thorne had told me earlier was that the team is still trying to address healthy bodies and hoping to get players in the lineup because they're still banged up. But again, they pulled out a 3-1 victory to snap North Island's 3-game winning streak. And in other BC Major Midget League news, last week BC Hockey announced that Jackson Penny had taken over as head coach of the South Island Royals. Penny, who was drafted in the 1989 NHL entry draft by the Boston Bruins, joined the Royals after spending several seasons with the Peninsula Minor Hockey Association, and he takes over a South Island club that was in the middle of the league standings with a record of 13 wins, 14 losses, and 2 ties. In the club's first game with Penny behind the bench on Saturday, the Royals beat the Greater Vancouver Canadians by a score of 3-2. Now, for more information about BC Major Midget League, including scores and standings as well as upcoming games, please visit the league website at www.bcmml.net. That's www.bcmml.net. You've been listening to This Week in BC Minor Sports here on CJSF 90.1 FM. My name is KP Wee, and that's going to do it for this week's program. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you again next time.